Hello, my name is Chris Cupers. I am known in the Godzilla community as GojiFan93 on the internet. I am here to bring you a mini documentary on a project I worked on with a group of like-minded G-fans. In this documentary, I will be going over the fan-made series called the Godzilla Kenshin Era Fan Series, or the Kenshin Trilogy. I will be going over all 3 fan films in the series, as well as behind-the-scenes discussions of what it was like to work on a 5-year project like this. I will be introducing you to every person that has been a part of this series so you can get to know the people who worked with us. We will be talking to the artists, voice actors, animators, and of course, Nico Molnar, who is the brainchild behind this whole series. Who knows, we might even talk about the future of the series. So sit back and enjoy as we delve into the Godzilla Kenshin Era series. Well, I'm Chris Cupers, also known as GojiFan93 on the internet, and I basically have been a kaiju fan for as long as I can remember, probably since I was like 5 years old. My dad got me into Godzilla, and I've just been into the fandom for super long, and now, working with Nico Molnar here and making some cool kaiju fan films.
And I am Nico Molnar. I've been a kaiju fan since I was about 4 years old. My first movie I've ever seen was, I believe, Terror of Mechagodzilla over a friend's house. And this has been a great ride, and I was working with Mr. Chris Cupers next to me, aka GojiFan93. And I'm predominantly known on YouTube as Plutonium2356.
Yeah, pretty much in my literally early days of starting my channel, he contacted me because he had an idea for a fan film, and I was, since I was just, barely had any subs, he was like one of the first subs that I ever got, and he was like, yeah, do you want to do a fan film, like a silly little thing? And of course, since I was starting out, I was like, oh wow, someone actually wants my help on something, that's awesome. And from there it spawned this whole trilogy. So
I was probably one of the, really most consistent commenters, one of the first ones, constantly liking and commenting,
Yeah, you were
and as I started requesting, top lists and stuff like that, I eventually advanced further, and then, when I had this idea, I figured why not contact Chris. He's a great, his channel is great for advertising, has the most popularity out of both of us. So I figured, why not go shoot my shot and try to get him on board for something that turned out to be something great.
So yeah, pretty much right around 2013, I started my channel in January of 2013, so give or take a couple months after the inception of my channel, he contacts me and wanted to do the fan film, and boom, probably, I don't know, halfway through the first year of my channel being alive, we filmed it and got it done. So yeah.
I mean, it in no way, shape, or form did it take long, no. But you know what? It's supposed to be something fun to do.
Yeah, we weren't serious at first.
No. We just thought it'd be something really cool to do. I honestly, at that point, I didn't really think. I've never seen a fan film before on YouTube, so I figured, why not really create one, and little did me and Chris know that we kind of created this concrete base for all these fan films just coming out left and right. I believe when World Apocalypse actually was released, maybe 7 or 8 fan films were, 7 or 8 fan films were announced that day.
That was many of them actually came out, was what, 2 out of, yeah, so I mean, we inspired a lot of people, but unfortunately a lot of no one else really kind of was on board with us. But I mean, the fact that we didn't think this would do anything, and all of a sudden, boom, oh, cool, we started something.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh man. Honestly, at first, I just thought it'd be cool working with him. That was honestly, something I thought would be really cool, because he was uprising. I mean, maybe you didn't have to give me Yeah, 150 maybe?
You were definitely in like the top 50, like the first 50 subscribers that I had.
I was number 3.
And the fact that...
I remember that. Yeah. I'm surprised I remember that.
Right, yeah. And
it's all the important little stupid stuff I remember, but anything important, it just goes out straight out of my head.
Yeah, and you know, like I said, the fact that someone, like, even though on the new channel no one knows who I am, the fact that someone is interested in getting my help on something, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to decline that. So, yeah, I was just wanting to have fun and seeing what we could do with Godzilla Unleashed, you know. Yeah. So here we are.
Yeah.
The first fan film in the series was called Godzilla World Apockalypse. This was when Nico and I were very new to creating videos on the internet, so we really had no idea what we were doing. We jumped into it with a carefree attitude, not really thinking people would care to watch. Little did we know we had something special here, and we started to create an audience.
Like I said, just trying to get in a project with Chris, really, honestly, you know. Yeah, it was basically one of the most basic storylines you can ever have, basic script, you know. We just want, I mean, I didn't know a lot at the time. I think same here with Chris. You know, we didn't have a lot of connections or anything, so we just kind of kept it basic, and there was no plans of a sequel at all.
No, we weren't going into it trying to innovate the genre or anything. So we weren't going into it trying to innovate or trying to impress anybody. Because we were just using Godzilla Unleashed as like footage. So technically the first film was like a machinima. You know, like if you think about Rooster Teeth's Red vs. Blue, anything like that. And it was a bitch to make.
So it was harder to make because of the restrictions of the video game.
Yeah, restrictions of the video game made it tough, but at the end of the day, it was a very fun experience to do, and it got me, you know, the gears in my head when it came to creativity of wanting to be a director.
If you could further expand upon, you know, the difficulty of the one battle of Varian versus Godzilla, how bad that was.
Yeah, that was fun, because in the script he said that Varian needs to run away from Godzilla, and of course in the game, you know, the characters are like always locked onto each other, so there's no runaway mechanic in the game. So I had to basically play as Varian, and you know, like halfway through the battle I had to awkwardly turn Varian around and just have him run away. And Godzilla, of course, chased him, and then I had to cut it from there. So that, you know, it's just restrictions like that with working with the game, and it just made it so hard.
Now, if I'm correct, you had a hard time even fighting him.
Yeah, because there were some parts where the AI, he just didn't want to fight me, and so it made it look bad. So I just could not, I was just like, I don't know what to do, so.
2 weeks.
Yeah,
easy.
I mean, yeah, 2 weeks. I think because you finished the script in like what?
2 days.
2 days.
Literally 2 days.
Sent it over to me, and I had all the footage done in like probably a day or so. And then of course I did all the editing with it, which probably took another like 1 or 2 days. So yeah, it did not take long at all.
After the success we had with Godzilla World Apockalypse, Nico quickly worked on a script for a sequel. This one, however, I wanted to be bigger in scale, production-wise. I didn't want to simply create the same thing we did before. I wanted to stop using video game footage, and I wanted to use full-blown animation for the next production. Luckily, Nico was on board.
I thought of appreciation, you know, with Chris helping me. I thought, why not bring back Spacegodzilla?
Yeah, since he's my favorite monster, I kind of wanted Nico to put him in. I was like, ooh, what if Spacegodzilla came back? So this time, I came up to Nico and I said, you know what, I cannot do gameplay footage again. I will not do gameplay footage again, so if you want to have another one, I want to actually go in to do animation. So from there, Nico was like, yeah, let's do that. He was on board with it. And at first, it was a little bit nerve-wracking because I was thinking, how are we going to do this? You know, like, get animation for this, you know, because animation, you can do whatever. rather than having an established video game that has the graphics, that have the character models, all that stuff. So we went to a guy on DeviantArt called MMD Charizard, and he basically has all these models of Godzilla, mostly from the Unleashed game. And we contacted him to see if he wanted to do the animation for it, and he said yeah. And from there, that's how we got started with that. The other addition, to kind of up ourselves, because we were a bit more serious this time, because we saw how successful Apockalypse was, so we wanted to kind of up our game. So we also got to get a crew of voice actors. So we made videos, and we had some friends that we knew that we thought would be some good voice actors, and we put out videos, and people responded, and that's how we got our cast. And from there we went on to production-wise, and yeah, it took us about over a year and a half, I think.
Although it wasn't all MMD Charizard, we also had Asusa Productions.
That's right, yep.
We also had James Myers.
Yep, yeah.
AKA Comedy Force.
Comedy Force,
yes.
Yeah.
There was SFM included in that
yes,
too.
So that was
human and
that
alien
was
scenes.
the other thing too. Was we discussed what we were gonna do animation-wise, and MMD came up because of MMD Charizard, but he unfortunately had to leave the production like roughly. Luckily, it was actually kind of at the beginning of the development of the scenes, so it didn't impact it that much. So we kind of had to rush to find someone else that could fill his shoes, and luckily we managed to run into Asusa Productions, and thank God, because he did an amazing job with what he had. And we also had Jim Myers, who did the source filmmaker scenes for the human scenes. So yeah, it was kind of two engines, kind of mix it together. And I think it was an ambitious project for us, at least, where we were our standards. So. As we said,
I think scheduling was the hardest. Yeah, scheduling was definitely the hardest. Having MMD leave was kind of hard, because it
was a gut punch. We were so happy with what he gave us with test footage and stuff, and we were so set on, all right, this is how it's going to be, this is how we're going to look, and when he said that he just didn't feel like he could do it, he left, and it was fine. We left on good terms. We're still friends. We still talk. And unfortunately, he just thought that his style of animation just didn't fit what our vision wanted. So when he left, that was kind of that hard moment where we're like, oh crap, like what are we gonna do? We have to find a new guy. But like I said, luckily Asusa Productions came up and bam, filled that role easily. But the other thing I said, when you were saying time-wise, scheduling-wise, definitely getting voice actors together. Probably one of my biggest. If I could go back, one of the biggest things I would want to change was getting every voice actor into one recording session and then them working off of each other, because for this one, we kind of met with each of them separately. Yeah. And it kind of made it for stifled or kind of weird, unnatural dialogue. Yeah. Because
if you didn't have anything to respond to, you kind of like either monotoned or you were reacting the wrong way.
It's like the actor had to talk to a wall, and it so it just kind of made it for stilted dialogue, But we made it work. We made it work through, and with the help of Jim and Alex Sousa, definitely got it done.
How many times will this animal challenge my Spacegodzilla? Trap the little one and go after the bigger one.
This film, I can say, was the first one out of the trilogy. Well, considering there's only 3 in the trilogy,
but it was a big point.
It was a big turning point. I think that's where we really put our foot down, and people knew what we were trying to do here. And I was very proud of it.
Yeah,
very, very proud.
This movie for me personally was a stepping stone of just me as a creative person wanting to push myself in storytelling and all that, and that's what made me want to help him write the script for the third film, because he wrote the script all there, and I just kind of helped co-direct, but it inspired me to be even more involved in the films, for the future films. So this definitely was the point where it was like, we started out being not serious at all. At the end of this whole process of Return of Spacegodzilla, we went into the third film going, all right, this is like full, let's do it, pedal to the metal, and just boom. Yeah, so it was definitely a big step for us, I think.
Since Nico and I wanted to up the quality, we needed to get some new talent on board to create our new vision for the sequel. Luckily, since I had connections through my YouTube channel at the time, it was pretty easy getting some new and familiar faces to join the team.
Alright, so I'm Asuza Productions. Some of you may know me as Alex online, yeah, it's great to be here. So I want to say one of the older animators, I think his name is MMD Charizard, posted on DeviantArt about how the project needed another animator, and I was like, I can animate pretty decent. So I was like, alright, I'll send him an email. I sent, I think it was Nico the email, and he was like, wow, your stuff's really cool. I definitely want you on board. And I was like, awesome, sounds good. And, you know, that's how I became the animator. So I was basically the monster animator, or I guess like a general animator. I didn't really do any of the human scenes though. I was in charge of doing like Spacegodzilla fighting Godzilla, and like the army fighting Spacegodzilla, and then the whole like Hyper Mecha King Ghidorah scene, like all that was me. And you know, looking back on it, I wish it was done better compared to like the stuff I'm doing now. It looks kind of crappy, but at the time it was really cool, and I'm glad we got to collab on it. It was overall really positive. There wasn't really like a set script, so I could be pretty creative with the scenes and how I wanted to do them. There really, you know, no negatives to really speak about. I think my animation came a long way since then. It looks so, like my stuff anyway just doesn't look up to par, and whenever I look back on it, it's just like, it's just like damn man, I wish I did a little bit better. I definitely loved the collaboration aspect of it. It was really cool. I definitely wish I could do more. Yeah, it was really cool to work as a team, and then to like, probably my favorite part was seeing the crowd at GFest react to it, and when people like filmed it. That was really cool. I just wish I could have been up there to like with everyone for the panel. If there was like a worst aspect of it, none of it was really negative, like I said. I guess part of it was kind of like, probably the worst aspect of it was trying to like make the animation longer, I guess, trying just to like I had like a example, like a 30-second scene, and then you and Nico were like, hey, let's get that to like a minute or 2 minutes. And I was like, okay, cool. How do I make it a minute? How do I make it 2 minutes long? So I mean, that was annoying, but like nothing really negative, like I said. I have a Facebook right now, Asuza Productions. You can search me up on there. My main platform is YouTube. It's just Asuza Productions, like the Facebook. Just go there, like my videos, subscribe. Got some really cool stuff coming out. I got Burning Godzilla versus Legendary Godzilla, and once that comes out, I'm gonna start working on some other cool stuff, and I'm really excited to bring that to you guys.
I'm James Myers. I animated the human scenes for The Return of Spacegodzilla. I got in contact with Nico and Chris when they were looking for animators for the project, and I showed them my demo reel, and they liked it pretty much when they saw it, and they had me start from day one. The experience working on this film was definitely interesting for me, because this was the first time I had to do a fan film where it's not by myself, but with other people. I didn't like the way the movie turned out. My animation skills were not the best, at that point in time, and also the difference in how we animated was pretty obvious. My favorite aspect of working on the film was just meeting the new people who all had the same interest in Godzilla as me. And definitely the worst part, I mean, with any film, is all the drama that comes with it. You can find me on my YouTube, James Myers, and also my old animation channel, Comedy Force.
My name is Regiso. I do Fresh Vinyl reviews on YouTube. I'm a big Godzilla collector, love collecting X+. It's really just the gist of it, I guess, unless you want to know more.
I don't know what could be worse than this.
You're mistaken if you think this situation is not going to get worse.
It was probably back in 2013 or 14, and don't mind my voice, it's G-Fest weekend. I've been talking for like 5 days straight. But when I started collecting X+, I met Chris through YouTube, through his channel, GojiFan93, and we kind of started going back and forth about some X+ stuff. I broke his chops about some Bandai creations and whatnot, and eventually converted him into X+ collecting for a time. And then I've met Nico, you, through Chris, and you know, you guys were putting together this movie and the movie trilogy and invited me to come on it, and we went from there.
Me? I'm Steve Martin Jr., scientist and survivor of the Osaka incident.
For Godzilla, The Return of Spacegodzilla, I was Steve Martin Jr. And I had that's what I did. I don't know if you want me to go into the bit of the role, but I had a lot of fun doing that because my accent, I'm, you know, coming from the Northeast, very heavy New Jersey, New York style accent. And having gone back to watch the movie at G-Fest in 2014, hearing myself with this heavy accent, and the audience was laughing, I'm Steve Martin Jr., you know, here comes Godzilla, whatever, you know, the lines and everything. It's been a while since I've watched it. It was fun. I had a lot of fun doing it. It was exciting.
My father told me stories all about Godzilla when I was young. I remember him telling me about his trip to Japan in 1984 as well.
To think that I was going to do some voice acting, I was like, cool, I've never done anything like that, because I'm usually in front of the camera talking about toys and whatnot, so working on the film was fun. You know, there was a lot of, I would say, online production work into who was going to, you know, what roles were being played, the lines, you know, even just saying the lines, because sometimes when we were acting, we kind of tried to, I think it would sound better like this if I said it like that. You know, we all kind of had a little bit of our own creative touch for our characters that we were doing, and that was fun, to give our own taste to it.
And your dad.
You don't ever talk about my father like that again.
Ladies, calm down.
I think it was an awesome film to be a part of, especially, I think it was great how it came out for you guys that created the movie, because you had a vision, a story that you wanted to tell, and you got it together, made it happen.
What are you doing up this late?
It was fun. Watching it at G-Fest was a blast, just to see all that work that that you guys put together for the most part, and as a joint effort watching it. But you know, the voice acting was cool. You can check me out on Fresh Vinyl Reviews on YouTube, Fresh Vinyl, Mr. Fresh Vinyl on Instagram and Twitter, and I have a Facebook page for Fresh Vinyl Reviews. You can check me out there.
I'm Danielle Faye. I've been a kaiju fan since I was barely 1 year old, and I've been an artist of them since I could pick up a crayon.
Today, we will begin our reign in Hiroshima.
Chris actually made a video trying to contact any female voice actors that were interested in doing the film for Return of Spacegodzilla. And I, you know, got enough bravery and came into contact with him, and that's how, you know, I met everyone in the dev team.
What? There's another one? No matter. Spacegodzilla will destroy his little soul along with every single Earthling.
I provided the voices for Amy and Queen Vorticia.
General.
Lieutenant?
What's Godzilla's activities now?
It was amazing. It was unlike anything I've ever done. Just seeing all these people and their amazing skills putting so much into this project, it was inspiring to say the least. With the what's it called? with the things that were provided for us, like, Gmod and the animators, with what we had, we made the best with what we had, and I think it was really good, honestly. I liked Spacegodzilla. I loved the story. I honestly cried at the end when Godzilla died and his son lived on, and honestly, it was really good. I loved it.
Could it have been the nuclear power plants? Was Japan hiding radioactive missiles in Nagasaki just in case of an emergency?
I loved it. It was my first experience doing voice acting and actually gaining enough courage to get myself out there, because I was very shy and I just got out of high school, so meeting up with Chris and teaming up with the team, it was very nice, and it was the beginning of something very wonderful.
Well then, it looks like another monster that was embarrassed by that godforsaken lizard.
I think it was just meeting everyone and seeing all the passion in this project and in this series and the movie, and there was just a lot of love put into it.
Twice as much as before. I want this monster revived immediately!
Morticia's voice, it hurts. Just the what I have to do with my throat, it does hurt, but it's worth it in the end.
Great. Awaken him! Rise, Spacegodzilla, rise!
I am Daikaiju Danielle on Tumblr, on DeviantArt, and DanielleZilla on Instagram, and I'm DanielleZilla also on Facebook, and I think that's it. Oh, and Daikaiju Danielle on YouTube.
So after we released Return of Spacegodzilla, we definitely established our series and got more of a fan base surrounding the trilogy. Showing the film at G-Fest in 2015 was such an amazing experience, and Nico and I learned a lot from this fan film. So of course the logical solution was to jump right in and work on the closing chapter of our Godzilla fan trilogy. As soon as I got back home, Nico and I started writing the script on how we were going to end our series.
So, right when we premiered Return of Spacegodzilla, we got a ton of praise. People liked it, and so as soon, unfortunately, Nico couldn't come to that G-Fest, and so when I got back home, literally the first thing I did was we got together and we both wrote the script. This time I wanted to help him write the script, so I was co-director and co-writer, and it took us about 6 months from literally
July
15th
of 2015 to February 16th of 2016.
So that's the longest script writing process I've ever been a part of, and it was really fun to do, and we went into this with full guns blazing. We want, this is the end of the trilogy. We wanted to go out with a bang. So it was really fun to get this one going, and all the surprises and things that we had in store for it were just so cool.
How did you?
Basically, Chris came to me and he was like, "We need to be original, almost an original storyline. We can throw some inspiration here and there, but we wanted to keep it, a traditional Godzilla film, but have its own separate place from the rest of the franchise movies and from the trilogy."
I wanted it to stand out from a lot of other fan films. I wanted it to have a unique sense of its own thing, that yes, it's part of this trilogy, but on its own, I think it can stand on its own in a way, just with a bit of background information on the first two films, but you could go into this film and still be satisfied. So one of the first things that I think both of us talked about was, what if we had a new monster, a brand new monster that fought Godzilla along with other classic characters, and from there we basically scripted the whole story revolving around a new monster, and it was a very fun process.
I think from creating the whole plot, I think we used the hybrid for a while. That's it. There was no Kudajira. There was no thought of a name. It was just the hybrid.
The hybrid. Yeah. We like I said, we wrote the whole script around him and then developed him later after that. And we also we wanted to bring back all the characters from the previous film, and we introduced a couple, well, one new character, a bigger bad guy that is behind everything, really. Because in the last film, you thought Morticia was behind it, but actually, she takes orders from a higher up guy. So we really wanted this one to have a lot of twists and turns, and you would go into this film thinking that you would know what would happen, but I think when you go see it, it's just, you won't expect anything in this film that you think will happen, but it'll blow you away.
Yeah, so. And I thought, a lot of people loved the three of some of the main characters. People loved Morticia. People loved Steve Martin Jr. General Cousins
and Yuki.
People, I remember you told me people were upset that Yuki
so,
died.
Yeah, when Yuki died, because our original idea was that he was dead, but because of fan reactions wanting him to come back, we kind of Deus Ex Machina'd him, and he managed to survive. So yeah, we're really happy about that.
Absolutely. Wow.
So,
man.
So where do we start when it comes to troubles with this film? Jeez. 3 years of hell is putting it lightly. And once again, like the last film, we were ambitious with it, but this one, man, we were way ambitious, and sometimes it might have been over our head to get this thing done. But I mean, wow. One of the first things that was hard was the biggest blow at the beginning was losing Jim Myers as our animator. Because for this one, we wanted to go full source filmmaker, no MMD. Nothing against ASUSA, nothing against MMD, the software. It's just we felt that in order to once again raise the bar with quality, MMD is just a little bit too robotic, and we wanted it to be more fluid, and the work that Jim Myers did on the human scenes, we wanted to see that translate into the monster scenes. But unfortunately, Jim, he had his own business that he was doing at the time when I asked him to come back, and he had to decline because he just couldn't show up. So that was kind of a big blow because we lost one of our really good animators, and then we lost ASUSA as well because ASUSA doesn't use Source Filmmaker. So we were literally back to square one when it came to finding animators. So this time we once again made a call and luckily found two amazing, talented, we couldn't have asked for better Source Filmmaker animators, and we got two to basically, instead of the last time where one would do human scenes, the other would do monster scenes, we basically wanted them to work together on every scene. That way the work can get done quicker, and also they can help each other if they need it, and that way it's not so oh, you go in your cubicle, I'll go in mine. We all of us wanted to be in close together to get this thing done. So so that was one of the first hard things. The other hard part was probably getting Kutajira made. That was a whole mess in its whole self, which we'll get into in that other section. And getting Kutajira made was a huge obstacle, and there was a time when I thought it wasn't going to happen, and I was going to be very. Oh, I mean, you remember I was pissed. I was like, at that point. Save it. So.
Probably getting some of the cast members together because everyone had a different time, a completely different schedule. That was really hard.
We did manage to get a better scheduling this time because we were a bit more aware of that because we did learn from Return to Spacegodzilla, so we did manage to get some of the actors to be in the same recording session. So we do think that the voice acting is better in this one just because of the fact that it felt more natural because the actors were able to hear each other and respond to each other. But we couldn't get everyone that we want. Like, we couldn't get the whole cast in because of time zone differences and work schedules and stuff. So we still had some lines that had to be, said in front of a wall, basically. But it wasn't as, tedious as we thought it was going to be. The other hard part was a lot of health issues with the whole team, pretty much. So. I think Nico had the worst of it, in my opinion, when it came to this whole production.
So based on the date of from creating the plot and everything, so that was back in July of 2015. my lung collapsed 5 times total in the past, in the whole entire time.
3 years.
Oh yeah, it was bad.
There'd be
really
times where I didn't even know about this, and then Sean would have to tell me, and I'd be like, "Oh my god, like Nico's in the hospital." Yeah, it would be scary. Like it'd be very scary things. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then Vinny, he got the bug.
You gave him the lung collapse bug. You know, so Vinny had experienced 2 times.
Yeah, twice.
In a very short time span.
Extremely short.
Yes.
I think maybe he got out of the hospital for a couple days, like
right back in the hospital.
Oh yeah.
It was like I felt so bad for him. And then I had my health issues. I had a stomach issue that was going on, and doctors could not figure out what was wrong with me. And so there was a time when I had to step away from the project, and I had to just lean it all on you to get it going. But luckily it didn't last too long.
Oh no, because I remember the day we had a meeting. You're like, I need I have to take a month or the rest of the year off.
Yeah.
You told us back in November I need the rest of the year off.
Yeah,
I remember that day we told you, me and Sean, we commissioned someone to get Kudajira made.
And we'll talk about him.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
And
then we had the Great Computer Crisis.
Oh my God! Yeah. So on top of our bodies breaking, our hardware was breaking.
Yeah.
So Sean's computer broke down.
He went through 3.
Yeah. Oh, he went through 3.
3.
Yeah.
And then you went through 1.
I went through 1. My computer decided to crap out on me. Thanks, Windows. So yeah, there was so many bumps in this road. But the fact that it's out and that we got it done makes everything so worth it.
Yeah.
Looking back at it, there were times where I thought it wasn't going to get done.
Yeah.
There were times where I was like, this is so ambitious, it's too much, we can't.
Yeah.
But, because of the team that we were around with and the people that I was around with, all of us, I think, kept each other motivated to keep on going, and we did. But this was the hardest film, for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Longer, more animation, better story, more in-depth story. So of course it was going to be more challenging, but all the outer sources that made things harder too. It made it definitely the hardest, but we got it done. Yeah, this film took 3 years. 3 long years.
And I don't think we need to expand upon that. We kind of already said
why
why it took 3 years. We kind of already.
So but 3 long years, which pretty much, if I can't say one thing, is the longest I've worked on a project. It's 3 years.
Yeah.
So
this has been wow. This movie holds a special place in my heart. As much as I was proud of the Return of Spacegodzilla, this
we are.
Oh yeah.
We're all proud of our babies, even World Apockalypse.
This movie just completely, all right, I'm going to use a great example. Wrath of the Hybrid is Godzilla. And Ibra from Final Wars was the Return of Spacegodzilla. And Hedorah was World Apockalypse. Now, keep in mind, it's Hedorah from Final Wars. So basically, that's how I view it.
Okay.
That's how I view it.
Okay.
That's how I view it.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, for me, once again, I have to thank Nico, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have been able to have the experience of, directing, writing, being involved in a project that's this big, and it is one of my crowning achievements in my life of just being able to do creative things, fan-made things, or whatnot, and hopefully the Toho gods are proud of us.
Unfortunately, things did not go so smoothly this time during the development of this film. Going into the film, we wanted to bring back one of the animators, Jim Myers, since the software he used we wanted to use for the whole film, not just the human scenes. Sadly, Jim had to decline this time since he needed to work on his own personal things. This created an issue since now we have no animators, and because once again we wanted to up our quality, we were stumped on who could get us to help with this huge project. Fortunately for us, we found that talent.
I originally approached Chris about working on Kaiju Fantasy Battle, but it later turned into me working on Wrath of the Hybrid instead. did majority of the monster animation and pretty much all the visual effects, but by that I mean like After Effects, Blender, and all that. Had a ton of fun working on it, and I can't wait to work with these guys on other projects. I think it could have been a lot better, but I keep saying this. If we started over with the work ethic and the skills we have now, it would be a much better film. It would be a lot more consistent and feel like an actual movie and not something fan-made. But nonetheless, I'm very prideful of the way it turned out. Everybody did an amazing job. Doing the particles for like things like the Guardian monsters when they went into Godzilla and stuff, that was a ton of fun. It was taxing on the computer, but it was still a ton of fun because I just got to make a bunch of eye candy. Definitely changing from 3 computers, because I originally started working on it on my desktop, which then that broke, so I had nothing else to work on at the time, so I worked on my dad's work computer. Then I wasn't supposed to be working on that, so we needed to find another option, and eventually I bought myself a laptop for animation and gaming. Then that broke. The hinge tore off, disconnecting the display, and every time I'd open the computer, the motherboard would basically rip open and I'd have to tape it down every time. It was just awful. Eventually I couldn't work on it at all, so I bought a new laptop, which is the one I'm using right now. There's my YouTube channel, QuinnCraftables. I'm working on my original animated Attack on Kaiju series. Other places, I have Twitter, the same name. That's pretty much it. I don't use anything else. But yeah.
Hello, my name is Ultraman Ultimo, or also known as Xavier Ochoa by my coworkers. Now, many of you are wondering how exactly did I end up working on this film, and how exactly I got in contact with Nico and Chris. It's a good question. I don't actually remember it myself, but it was a very long time ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I can't remember if it was Steam or YouTube that I got I don't know what to call it, a call for arms to assist with this. But yeah, it was about 2 or 3 years ago. I think it was Chris who reached out to me over YouTube. Yeah, that sounds about right. That's what I can remember. I'm sorry. Now, as for what I worked on the film, well, I worked mostly on the human scenes. I apologize if any of that didn't actually look any good. Human animation is not my forte. It's mostly monsters. You can probably tell. But beyond that, I also provided any material, any models, and assisted my associate Quinn with whatever he needed in regards to a scene that he needed, or helped out with an animation or a suggestion to what he could do to fix up. I also was the one who personally rigged up the Kudajira model, which was a big pain in the ass because of how high poly it was. I'll make this real quick. The higher poly a model is, the more rigs it's going to need, the more time it will need to weigh it. It was not fun. Now, what was my favorite aspect of working on the film? I have to say doing some of the scene building for some of the alien scenes, because I gotta admit that was pretty well done on my standards. I just kind of wish that the lighting was a little bit better. For some reason it would end up looking a little weird in some shots, but I couldn't fix that. I blamed that on the system itself. But overall it was an enjoyable experience to build up this evil alien base. Also, I got to voice some of the aliens during those scenes, and that was a little bit fun. Let me see, what else was there? Honestly, it was kind of enjoyable teaching Quinn, who at this point, during the beginning of this whole production, didn't know a lot much how to do SFM, but I was impressed with how much he was absorbing everything I was teaching him like a sponge, and in my opinion, he succeeded beyond what I expected, and to be honest. He's become a really good animator out of this experience, and one of my favorite aspects of seeing out of this whole experience was that a friend of mine managed to learn so much from this. Now, what was the worst part of working on this film? I mentioned it earlier. That would be rigging up the Kudajira model, since it was extremely high poly. The higher poly it is, the more it tends to lag the modeling program I was using to give it the rig or the skeleton. There was a lot of things on the model that I wanted to do, like I wanted it to be able to open its I wanted to have it open its torso mouth to act like a weapon or something like that. I also wanted to add a little bit more to its design. That's why I gave it those shoulder pylon, the back pylons. It originally didn't have those, but I figured it would look a little bit neater with that. Maybe add a few surprises like King Ghidorah heads coming out of its hands or its chest mouth or something like that. A little bit more aspects to make it a genetic monstrosity, but I never got a chance to do that due to limitations of the model itself and how poly it was and time constraints. I mean, there was so much that potentially we could have done with the monster, but I was limited by what I could do at the time, and that's what I didn't like. Alright, now, looking back on the film, how do I like how it turned out? Actually, yes. There are some obvious flaws, some part on ours, but that's just the way it is. It's a fan film, but for a fan film, I think we did pretty well, especially towards the monster animations towards the end, which makes the entire experience worth it to see it in action, because personally, between you and me, there's not that many Godzilla animators or kaiju animators in this field on YouTube or anywhere else besides the stop motion folks, and I have great respect for them, but I kind of wish I could see a little bit more in the 3D modeling gig, but that's just how it is. I think that wraps up my whole experience with the event. It was quite an experience. I'm glad I was able to be part of it. For now, I have to move on to other projects, though I may come back and help out in the future if need be. Now, for those of you who are listening and interested in checking me out, I have a YouTube channel at Ultraman Ultimo. I post most of my Silly Source Filmmaker little films there. I also have a Tumblr by the same name. You can see little previews that I put up on there, or renders, sometimes silly shit posts, let's call them that. But I also have a Patreon where I hope to garner enough interest from my work to get enough money to start funding new and original kaiju with what I to make in the future. Like maybe some of those colossal kaiju combat monsters from that now probably perma-cancelled or perma-hiatus Colossal Kaiju Combat. But yeah, if you can check them out. I usually have links on my YouTube page or YouTube videos towards those social media sites. My Twitter included, same name. From there, you'll be able to check out and see what I do, what I have to say, or if you want to get in contact with me, those are the best ways to reach me.
When getting the voice actors back, we were fortunate enough to get the same cast back from the previous film. Once again, it was super fun to work with these people, and they are good friends in the Godzilla community. This time, we also added one more new voice actor, who brought our new villain to life, named Kitamura.
My name's Kyle Joe. I am a guy who makes videos on YouTube. I'm also a visual arts instructor, teaching little humans how to art, high school 9 through 12. And I am the voice of Kitamura.
Yep, that's cool.
Welcome home, Morticia. I trust your mission was a success.
I got in contact. You guys got in contact with me, actually. I remember seeing Chris's videos, like, oh man, this guy's super chill and looks super happy. I wish I could have that positive energy in my life. Followed him, and then he messages me later, hey, are you interested in a voice acting opportunity? Yeah, sure. Okay. And that's how it all began. Then I met you through that acting session.
How's that possible?
I am the voice of Kitamura. And that's it. I'm just a bad guy. It's fun. It was fun. One thing that stood out to me that I still remember to this day is when we voiced when we did the recording session. Went over the entire lines. I felt so proud of myself. At the end, I didn't even realize I was supposed to be doing this, but okay, send us those audio files. Crap. So we had to go through those lines twice, but it was good. It was good.
Speak quickly before I change my mind.
I loved how it turned out. The animation, the characters, the colorful cast of characters. We got Rich Iso, Diego Doom, John, the works, really good. If I could say one thing, I feel like my character is a little dull compared to everyone else. That's my personal opinion. But still, it came out really great. I love how everything looks in the piece.
And Godzilla. This is your last chance. Don't fail me.
My favorite aspect is that I got to be a bad guy. I've always wanted to voice villains. I don't know why. I think villains are a little more interesting than heroes. People can check me out on YouTube as Godzilla, DeviantArt, Django-Zilla, Instagram, Django_Zilla, Twitter, all one word, Django-Zilla. Yeah, that's where you can find me. See my art, see pictures of my toys and my adventures.
Prior to for this film, I had worked with them on The Return of Spacegodzilla. So they were like, let's bring the character of Steve Martin Jr. back, and I got the call from my manager, who asked me to come back and do some more voice acting.
Stopping you, of course. You see, I can't let you reactivate UX0293.
I was Steve Martin Jr. again, returning or reprising that voice acting role from the previous film. Actually, I have to be honest with you. It was so long ago that we recorded, and when Chris asked me to come do the interview, I was like, did I record for this movie? And I feel bad because it was that long ago, and even at this moment right now, I haven't seen the new film yet. So I'm intrigued to go watch it because I don't remember most of the lines that I recorded. I'm sorry for that, and to the viewers that are out there watching this. So like, it's going to be a treat to go back and watch it.
Well, my old friend, during the Spacegodzilla invasion, I did some of my own research on you and your squad. Oh, I'm sorry, I meant your former squad.
I can sense that I'm going to enjoy it a lot because, again, having kind of forgot that I participated in it, to go back and watch it, or to go watch it now and see the work that I did, 2 years ago, it's going to be refreshing.
Look at this smart guy.
The voice acting, for sure. Again, like I said, having not seen the film yet, being able to see that work that we did 2 years ago into production, it's going to be fun to see what I said.
I reprised my role as Queen Vorticia and Amy, but I also designed the hybrid monster Kudijira.
Well. Look who I found, the so-called Godzilla expert.
It was... I can't really put it into words. It was amazing, and I had a lot of fun designing Kudijira, just making this creature that no one's ever seen before, and just meeting all these people with so many skills, the animators, the composers, the amount of writing and love put into this film is very high and very inspiring, to say the least.
I'm sorry, my lord, but we failed. A monster on Earth they call Godzilla killed Spacegodzilla.
Oh, yes. I loved this film so much. It's honestly my favorite fan film I have ever seen, and probably I will ever see. It felt like a real Godzilla film. Like, you could tell real fans made it, and like the story, the twists, the kaiju action, the composers, it was all just perfect, beautiful.
Wasn't my fault. We had them beaten.
I really liked the amount of blood, sweat, and tears put into this movie. everyone's been through so much in the making of this film, and just seeing it, you know, finally out, and so much fans loved it. Seeing them cheer and clap for it was amazing. I'm speechless.
It will be done!
Having to keep Kudajira a secret was really difficult, because I'm so proud with how he came out, and, you know, I love him so much. He's like a son to me. So obviously I wanted to show everyone, and look at this beautiful boy I made. But I couldn't. I had to wait 3 years, and it was worth the wait.
Actually, I was just recently introduced to the Kenshin trilogy, but from what I saw, it reminded me a little bit of the work I used to do, where it started out small, but it eventually grew and grew and grew, and I'm just impressed by how much it has evolved over the years, because I remember when Monster Apockalypse, it was made in Godzilla Unleashed, and when it immediately jumped to Return of Spacegodzilla, and just here we are now with Source Filmmaker and all this incredible technology with Wrath of the Hybrid. It's just amazing how drastic it evolves each time. When next Suitimation, if there is a fourth film. For Wrath of the Hybrid, my role was rather small. I think I was just a voiceover for some miscellaneous personnel. So, yeah, small, but hey, I'm in the movie. I can't really complain. Yeah.
I am Aiden Cherkez, aka Kikizilla 101. I actually voice acted inside this film as the alien messenger that talked to Vorticia, like when she's coming up and meeting the big bad alien guy. I forget his name. Anyways, that's who I was. And I really enjoyed voice acting for that part. According to Chris, I was actually made it very easy. Don't know how much I believe him on that, but I'll take his word for it. I had voice acted in this like little voice, and then he just did a bunch of like changing and altering to my voice. That's why it doesn't really sound much like me, and I probably sound completely different. You're like, who the heck is this guy? But I am that guy that was the weird little cameo just in the little middle of the film that I just talked to Vorticia. Anyways, moving on. So I feel amazing about being a part of this trilogy. I personally have seen all 3 movies. I've seen all of them when they first came out. I have been watching Goji Fan 93 since the very beginning. I have been watching him since his channel started, basically. I believe I was subscribed to him before he was even 1,000 subscribers. It's been so long, so forgive me, I'm forgetting here. But it's just been an amazing experience to just be able to talk to him in person, to be able to just interact with him. It's just been an amazingly fun experience. I really loved meeting him. That's probably the biggest thing that just in general, I mean, I know it's not too linked to the trilogy itself, but like just with that, I got to meet him and know him as a person, and it was just a phenomenal experience. And to be able to be in my own Godzilla movie, that's like my dream. I've always wanted to make one, but be in one, like I've been trying to be a extra in like one of the legendary Godzilla movies or something like that. But nothing ever worked out. But this was awesome. This was even more than I ever wanted to do. Actually have my own lines and stuff inside this film. And I know it's a fan film, but this was a phenomenal fan film. It was amazingly well done. The animations were fantastic. The music by Vinny was fantastic. Everything was done phenomenally. The voice actors did an amazing job. It's just a really quality production. I think it's the best fan film I've ever seen. I could say that with confidence. And I just really enjoyed watching it. So be able to have a film that I can enjoy like that, and then say that I'm a part of it, it's really a dream that hits home to me, really close to home to me, because I've been wanting to be a director my entire life, been wanting to make creations of my own. So it's just a fantastic experience for myself.
Back in 2015, when we premiered Return of Spacegodzilla, I said that I wanted to have an original soundtrack made for this film. When looking for someone to compose the music, we ran into an amazing guy named Vinny DeGregory. He is probably best known for his work on a fan-made Godzilla game called Godzilla Daikaiju Battle Royale. He was happy to join our team, and we got ourselves an amazing composer. I was able to fulfill my promise 3 years later.
I'm Vinny DeGregory, and I've been a Godzilla fan basically when I was born. I remember the first movies were either King Kong vs. Godzilla or Godzilla vs. Megalon, and I like to make Godzilla music. I started making Godzilla music when around 2011, shortly after I graduated high school. Well, he took me to the premiere, and afterwards there was Q&A, and one of the fans asked if what the music Chris and Nico announced that there was going to be a sequel film in the works, and a fan asked how the music was going to be done, and then Chris proceeded to say that he was going to try to get an original composition done with it. And at the time, I didn't put my hand up when I should have, but later that day, there was a party in the video game room. Alex took me there too. We had a chat, and then Chris came in, and I just brought up the subject and asked to join. See if I could put my work to use, I guess, because at the time, I was making music for Alex's game for Godzilla Daikaiju Battle Royale. And I was just starting to pick myself, I was just starting to get myself off my feet. I was getting better at my music at the time. But yeah, that's how it started. The music and the Kudajira sound effects. Or roars. It was pretty good. I never felt like it was nice to work something very hard and passionate about, get it done. You get that sense of accomplishment. You get to see, look at the whole entire film in its entirety, and you could say you worked on that, and it's part of a masterpiece of a whole bunch of people, artwork, animation, music, and even voice acting. It just blends very well together, and it came out beautifully. It was a very good film. Yeah, I think it was a very excellent fan film. It was pretty fun. Teamwork, the fact that we got we had a work schedule going on. We get to work along with the animation. I get to put my music along, and we had a tight schedule, a specific pace going on. It was very easy going and very easy to work with. I want to say the obvious, the lung collapse, but aside from that, I want to take that out of it. But I would say trying to finish a theme, and trying to be absolutely sure that's how you want it to be, because I'm such a nitpicker at things like that. I kind of critique myself over and over to see if it's oh, is this how you really want to do it, or is it are you sure you want to do it like this, or you want to do it this way or that way? And I'm my worst critic when it comes to that. But yeah. On my YouTube channel, it used to be called Darth Calypso, now it's called Chenzo. My Facebook is Vinny DeGregory, and my Toho Kingdom is Darth Calypso still. But now I barely use it, so yeah.
This was hands down the most challenging part of creating the film. When Nico and I wrote the script, we wanted to have something that stood out from the rest of the Godzilla fan films out there, and we came to the conclusion that we should create our very own kaiju for Godzilla to face off against. So began the process of creating our original kaiju called Kudajira. Our first step was to figure out how the origin and the design of the creature would work. We decided to revolve the plot around this monster, hence the name, Wrath of the Hybrid.
So, the big attraction for this one, Kudajira. Our original monster. And no, Toho, you can't have him.
No, no, they're not unless they're paying everyone here. Listen, if they want to buy Kudajira off me, it's gonna cost $1 billion, and I'll be split with the whole crew evenly.
Better.
Oh, it is. Oh, I
no,
see. I'll
but,
show you on.
Okay,
yeah,
so it's on
yeah.
camera. So.
Yeah, it's on camera.
But no, Kudajira.
You got that, right?
Yeah, I got that.
Kudajira was basically it came about because when we were talking about the beginning when we were writing the script, We wanted something to truly stand out in this film, and the only thing I could think of was to have an original monster. And you know, there was a very tall order at first, because it's like, you know, okay, well, easier said than done. And you know, through writing the script around this character, that was probably the most fun thing to do. Because in my time of being on YouTube, I've had so many people ask me like, well, if you made a kaiju, what would it be? Well, now I have that answer, and it's Kudajira. We wanted to make a character that was Godzilla's strongest enemy. Most ferocious, most badass. This guy doesn't take shit from nobody. He beats them down. And,
he just the fact that, you know, Godzilla can't take him down with his spiral beam
with the red ring.
That really just shows you, and the character that really came upon him throughout the film. You know, the animators really humanized him and gave him personified.
And that's the thing that was amazing was that he has personality. You don't want to mess with this guy. And even, you know, because in tradition in Godzilla movies, especially in the Heisei series, you know, Godzilla's red spiral beam is usually the moment of, you know, Godzilla's triumph. Like this, he gets back up after being beaten down, and boom, red beam comes out. For Kudajira, he's like, what is that? And just completely annihilates him. So I'm so proud of the way that Kudajira came about, and the origin of him is kind of a convoluted one. In the team, we had debates of like, is he really a hybrid or not? But for record here from the makers, he is a hybrid, because not only is he has the DNA of Godzilla and Spacegodzilla, but in the movie we don't explain. You kind of have to think about it. It's not really you know, spoon-fed to you. But he also grabs the cells of Orga. There's a part in the movie he grabs Orga in and basically chews him up and spits him back out, and then you see Kudajira pop out of the dust. The question is what did Kudajira look like before he ate Orga, you know, or took his G cells? And he also has a bit of Kitamura in him, because he's the, you know, Kitamura was the one who birthed him, basically. So there's a lot of underlying origins with Kudajira that weren't necessarily addressed, but we wanted to keep that up to the audience's interpretation of not only, because technically if it was just Godzilla cells with Spacegodzilla, it would just be another Spacegodzilla, right? But because of Orga being mixed in there and Kitamura, that's why he looks the way he does. So but he is the most badass monster ever.
Easy.
So
I don't even have to think about it.
After we settled on an origin and design, it was now time to find an artist to create our creature. Surprisingly, we already had a talented artist in our team. Danielle Faye has been a good friend for many years, and she turned out to be the talent we needed to create Kudajira. Danielle was on board and went straight to creating our creature.
Creating Kudajira was so much fun. The moment Chris said, okay, he's a mixture of Orga, Godzilla, Spacegodzilla, go crazy, I had so many images in my head. The main thing I wanted to add was, obviously, giant hands, giant claws, big pointy teeth, and I started with a very thick looking kaiju because, you know, Orga's my favorite monster, so obviously I wanted a lot of him in there. So I created a very muscular, very elephant-like, it had a little bit of Godzilla in there, had some scales. He was very pointy, but I sent it to Chris, and he said, interesting, but can you tweak it a little bit? Can you go a little crazier with it? And so I added a second one, and I made him even more spiky, but this time I wanted him to be slimmer. to be agile, because Godzilla's and Orga's and Space Godzilla's big weakness is that they're slow. And what I was thinking is that he was a mixture of all of them, but he's also superior to them. So I was thinking he can't have those weaknesses because he's the ultimate life form. So he has all of this bulk, but also he's able to move fast, and he can teleport. He could really duck and dodge. He's not an easy target. And I wanted to add a second mouth because Orga, he has a huge mouth, and Space Godzilla's very toothy, and I had a lot of fun seeing where I can input that into the character. So having a chest that could devour Orga, which is what I think he did at first when he first arrived. He devoured Orga. He just opened his chest mouth and leaving the head just there to die. But my favorite part you can notice that throughout all the concepts, he has these piercing red eyes. I really loved that because he's evil. He has dark intentions, and it's not just because he's being controlled by the aliens. It's because that's just who he is. It's in his nature, because Orga and Space Godzilla aren't nice at all, and neither is Godzilla. But so he has a lot of evil. He has a lot of ill will, dark intentions, and the final one, I think I really captured that in his overall look. And, he had huge spikes, but he was very slim, agile, a perfect mix of bulk and agility. And I think he really came out super well. The animators did a fantastic job with his personality, and just his abilities are amazing. He's super powerful. He really is the ultimate life form, and I think he's my favorite character I've ever designed and worked on.
After we received the concept designs, we went through about 3 looks before settling on one we all loved. Next was the most challenging part, creating a 3D model. This proved to be harder than we thought. After the grueling process of getting the model created, one of the last steps was to bring it to our animators and have them bring Kudajira to life.
So when it came to creating Kudajira, so once we got the conceptual art from Danielle Faye, we then had to move to the next phase of actually creating the model of him. Now, once again, this was a tall order. It was like, how the hell are we going to do this? So Sean told us that there's a site called Freelancer. So what you can do there is you can go and put up a ad, and a bunch of freelancers will come in and they'll take bids, or they'll ask hey, I can do this, and you contact them. So this was this kind of counts under one of the hardships of the thing, and my wallet had to pay for it. So what happened was, long story short, and also not naming names, but we had this guy who came in and he said yeah, he'd be up to doing the Kudajira design, and it was great. We had him sign a contract and all that good stuff, and it was a couple months of waiting and just kind of figuring out what
we got some stuff.
Yeah, we got a couple stuff, but long story short, the guy was just very unprofessional, and he did not respond in a timely manner. He didn't show up to our meetings that we needed him for, and basically at the end of the day, we just had to let him go. I was like, you know what, this isn't working, and he basically, because what we did is we did a 50-50, pay up front, like a half fee, and then pay afterwards once we see the model and we're satisfied with it. So we did kind of get scammed in a way, just because of how unprofessional he was with this. But then during my sickness of probably one of the lowest moments of my health issue, these guys came through and made my dream come true of getting Kudajira live, and that's what makes me so thankful to be in a team that I was with, because they were so excited for Kudajira as well. And my point of view at the end of that, I was thinking, well, great, Kudajira is not going to happen, and I was I didn't want to finish the film because I was like, that was the one thing that was gonna like make him or make the film good. And if we didn't have that, then it's just a shell of itself, and I was not going to be proud of it. But luckily, when I had to take a leave of absence from the team for a bit, these guys made a big surprise and went back on to Freelancer. They fought for the model, and we got him. And I came back, I did like a little short meeting with them, and they had a little surprise for me. And it was like one of the coolest moments. I almost cried, I think, because it was just like the fact that you guys did that, you know, was just so cool. And when I saw the model, I was just like blown away. I was like, oh my god, this is happening. Like this is happening. We have our baby. We have Kudajira. You know, he's here in the flesh. And so that was one of the coolest things. And I thank you, Sean and Ultimo, for getting that to happen, because it was like the best. That was the best thing. So. And
we got him for a fraction of the price.
Yeah, that still stings about that, but yeah, but he's here. We have him, and so that's all that matters.
Yeah,
it's great.
As of writing this documentary, we are about 3 weeks away from releasing the latest film to the public, and we could not be any more excited to show you what we have been working on for the past 3 years. These last 5 years working on the Kenshin series has been one of the best projects and experiences I have ever been in. I want to take the time to give a final word from everyone who has poured their heart, soul, and passion into helping Nico and I create this awesome fan series.
So yeah, at the end of the day, Wrath of the Hybrid is probably one of my most proudest things, and the friends I've made because of it, the connections I've made because of it, I couldn't be more grateful for it.
And if it's one thing that made me realize, you know, being the people that we're around right now in G-Fest and premiering at G-Fest, that this could only be the beginning of something greater and better, and it could lead to a bright future.
We are very excited about the future right now.
Working on this ever since 2014, I was very shy, very antisocial, but I felt it calling to me in a way. Ever since I saw Chris upload that video calling out for any female willing to do voice acting, I felt a pull. I felt like this is my chance to really get myself out there, to get out of my shell. And over time, it really introduced me to so many wonderful people, so many beautiful talents, and so many wonderful experiences, and I got to get myself out there during this trilogy and working on this, and it was so inspiring. And honestly, I can't wait to I can't wait for the future of this team, and I hope to work with them again sometime, and this is the beginning of something wonderful.
It's amazing how a bunch of Godzilla fans can come together and work on something that they truly love to do, from different talents and different locations in the country, and just come together and make a beautiful piece of art. And now it's going to go down in history as a pretty genuine fan film, and it's pretty awesome that I get to be a part of that, along with just a part of this group of people, like of awesome people. It's very fun, and I encourage other people to do it. Like, go do what you want to do best and keep at it.
Also, the overall impact the film just made on me, like I said, I've been able to meet GojiFan93, and I can now call him my friend, and so this is just probably one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life. It's on another level. It's really hard to explain. I still have those moments every once in a while where I just sit back and I realize that I'm talking to GojiFan93. I know that he probably doesn't like being dehumanized like that, but one of the best experiences is just getting to learn the impact that it's had on me. It's just getting to learn how much of these huge people that we watch, these huge YouTubers that we fans just adore. And to get to learn that they're just other people too, and that they just have lives. They're amazing people to just be around, and that's just been it's made a huge impact on me and my aspiring YouTube career. It's changed my life in a lot of ways, and he's also been kind of like a mentor to me. He's taught me a lot about from his experience about being a YouTuber and how to be successful, and so that is invaluable. Or that is not incorrect word. That is priceless. That's not invaluable. It's been priceless information that I've just cherished ever since I first met him. So it's, yet again, not too directly linked to the film itself. Yet again, I loved this film, but it was mainly just the impact that that Chris had on me that I'm really taking away from this film. And I can kind of use this film as a timestamp to kind of look back on those days and those moments. And I just cannot thank him enough for letting me be a part of this film. I can't thank all of the people that were a part of this film so much as for being a part of it and just for letting me join you guys in that. It was just an amazing experience, and it's definitely something I'm never going to forget. So thank you guys just for letting me give this little message.
It's really grown since the your first movie that you put out. I can see that all of you guys have really developed your skills in regards to filmmaking, animation. We have that first one, which it's fun. And the second one, just as fun, a step up. And that third one, you could really see there's been a vast improvement. As I said it in my video review, to me it's like the Return of the King of your trilogy.
The Kenshin era trilogy, I think it's something that it's by the fans, for the fans. You guys had a passion to set out to do this, to make it happen. So to see the trilogy come together, that's a self-accomplishment for the creators. To be a part of it, that's kind of like speechless, because I've never been asked to be in any kind of fan film before or anything. I think it's great that your team is doing a film and getting the hobby involved, because it's very much in line with what I do with Fresh Final Reviews. I like to try to give back to the hobby, get people involved, and make everybody feel like they're a part of something bigger than themselves. And that's what you guys have done with this trilogy.
The whole trilogy was nice. Like, again, the fact that it started off as like a gameplay video reminds me of when I used to work on my show with, the lesser end stuff, and the fact that it grew into something this impressive is just impressive. It's just, it boggles my mind that all these talented people could get together and make something like this.
Okay, so just say anything.
I have adopted Orga as my son. I love him very much.
Okay, that's good.
And of course I went on board immediately because Chris's projects are amazing. Or Chris and Nico's projects are amazing. Sorry.
Bloopers.
To wait 3 years, and it was worth the wait.
Oh yeah, we don't need that.
Return of Spacegodzilla premiere, and at the Q&A.
Alright. I just like goddamn honking. Like what the fuck?
That's a blooper.
Yeah. Alright. Okay. 3, 2.
How did you get in contact with Nico and Chris?
I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, you don't have to repeat it, Sue. Just
this is what actors feel like when they do outtakes.
Yeah. So just continue where you left off. All right. Sorry, did I just slap you or something? Okay.
How did you?
Hold on.
It's fine. It's fine. We're not breaking.
Bloopers.
We're not breaking. See, he isn't breaking. No one's breaking. Right now.
We're not breaking. We're
Yeah.
not breaking. This isn't breaking
No,
bad.
this isn't breaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zoom in on it.
By the way, this is after the premiere of Wrath of the Hybrid. Sean is dead.
Sean's dead. We have a dead body in the room.
All right. Okay. So, all right. Yeah. So just continue from that. So 3, 2. I fucking. Are you serious? Every god.
And there was a cue. Why?
Just okay. We're go. Good.
Just do it again.
Keep on going.
Yeah.
All right. Introduce yourself.
I'm Sean Flaherty, the animator for
Look at me. You looking at me.
Yeah, you look at me.
You gotta look at him.
I'm afraid he's gonna laugh.
I'm not gonna laugh.
Alright.
You broke the rule and just did.
I'm not gonna laugh.
It's fine. All right.
My name is Sean Flaherty. I'm the animator for Wrath of the Hybrid.
How did you get in contact with Nico? How did you get in contact with Nico and Chris?
I originally approached Chris because I wanted to help out with.
Chris started laughing
because he cried. I could tell that he was gonna keep on going, but I'm like, nope, I'm gone.
How did you get in contact with Nico and Chris?
Originally contacted them about doing Kaiju Fantasy Battle, but they said they wanted me to do Wrath of the Hybrid instead.
What? Is that it? Is that really?
Alright. How was your experience working on the film?
It was good.
Looking back on the film.
Damn it, Sean.
No, that's great.
I know.
People are gonna think it's like hilarious. Like people are gonna love you. Looking back on the film, do you like how it turned out?
Yeah.
God damn it.
It's fine. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it right now. I'm loving what he's going for. I'm loving it. He's the simple, basic, straightforward guy. I'm loving it right now.
Yeah, I'm really tired.
Keep it going.
He's tired.
Keep it going. Listen, we're keeping this whole thing for the loop.
Oh
this
yeah.
whole entire thing.
Oh yeah.
All right. Favorite aspect of working on the film?
The animation.
What was the worst part about working on the film? You're on the whole event or something, man.
Vinny made me crack. Vinny was I heard him go.
Yeah, let me over here.
Nah, you can't even be near us right now.
Woo, I'm still rolling. All right.
All right, ready? What was the worst part about? All right.
Yeah, I really want to answer that.
What was the worst part about working on the film?
The directors.
Holy shit!
Damn it, Vinny.
He wasn't looking at the camera.
No, he wasn't. That was
Or
good.
me. All right.
That's fine. He can look at the door if he wants.
Yeah.
As long as he's looking
I
that
didn't mean
way.
to say the camera. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll re-answer.
Where can people check you out?
No, we need to go back.
I thought that was a legit answer, to be honest.
The directors?
He seemed dead serious about it.
Do I look serious?
And where can people check you out?
At HTTPS. I don't know how to say those dots are. Guys, I don't know what to say.
Like your Instagram, YouTube
Quinn
channel.
Craftables on YouTube.
Well, yeah, but my mind blanked out when I was trying to like.
He's trying to memorize his YouTube.
I was trying to remember like how to say that. Guys, I'm really tired.
I think the most of his interview is going to be in the bloopers.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be the best one. And closing statement.
Yeah.
Help me! I don't have much time.
Template story ever. What happened?
Like I said, we were using Godzilla Unleashed footage, And Vinny's cracking up over here now. Oh, did you end it?
No, she started it. She just started it.
Oh, I get confused with the... I'm always scared with this camera.
We were
trying to innovate anything or trying to amaze
I'm
people.
sorry.
Hell, man.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
What the hell?
I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
That's it, I'm done. I'm done.
Oh my god. Alright, trilogy. No plan for trilogy.
Yeah, it was a bitch to make because of all the
Yeah.
restrictions. So
Yeah,
I
was-
just said, what? Is bitch funny?
Yeah. Must be very fucking funny if he's cracking up over there. Must be very funny if he
I'm gonna
is.
have to make a lot of censors on this one. Gotta be family friendly for ad revenue.
Oh my god, I did like a really nice zoom out when you said that.
Okay, so yeah,
Bitch to make.
Alright.
Director and you know what it takes to get that stuff started.
Actually, could you further? Could you?
You give it a try.
I don't think Sean's any more qualified to do it. I can't look at him.
No, because he's dead face.
Should I read the question?
You're fine.
You're fine. You're fine.
I'm chill.
Alright.
I can't.
Alright.
No, since he's my favorite monster, I kind of wanted Nico to put him in. I was like, ooh, what if Space Godzilla came back?
Yeah.
There's a phone vibrating somewhere.
That's not mine.
It might be Quinn's or yours, Danielle.
No, mine's good.
Oh, of course it's Alright, what's up? No, it's we're having a fun time up here. You just wait until the documentary's done. I have bloopers and it's gonna be hilarious. What's up? Yeah, so the film's at 10:30, so we'll probably go down to the lobby around 10-ish. Yeah. So
I'm gonna be heading over to my dad's in a bit.
That's no problem.
I'm just zooming really far into your face. Holy shit.
No, it's fine.
Hold on, keep it.
You're fine. Yeah, no, it's fine. We're not gonna be able to finish it tonight anyways. It's gonna be a process. Like tomorrow will be main filming day. We're just trying to get as many things done tonight while it's calm and quiet.
I was like slowly zooming out there.
He's gonna cry.
Okay, yeah. Alright, bye-bye. Okay, it's 9:19. Okay, so... Okay. Thought I tipped him over. Okay. Alright, so where the fuck were we?
Return of Space Godzilla. I don't even
Inspiration.
Yep. Anyways, Kiri was originally supposed to be in the film, but but it's probably one of my favorite characters in the Oh!
My voice crashed!
Oh wait, are we oh, sorry. Are we actually, because we're doing filming too, so
I was just filming this for that.
Oh, okay, shit. I was trying to make it authentic.
We're filming too.
But at the same time, I got confused because I was like, wait a minute, do I have to act or like... I didn't know if you were being serious. Should we try that again?
I can't already.
Did you hear my voice? Like Parks and Rec style, where you just like look into the camera like,
oh yeah.
I like The Office.
Yeah, The Office.
No, see, the funniest thing is,
yeah,
we've been
I've seen Parks and Rec. That's actually funny.
We're recording the and I thought that'd be great. So,
Sorry.
what the fuck are you, Taylor?
I know, what's he doing?
I'm sorry, I'm just waiting.
This now. Come on.
We're waiting for you.
Here, wait about 15. Okay,
about
guys,
time.
yo.
We got 15 seconds.
Hey, yo, 15 seconds now.
All right. Visuals, and that was one of the bigger parts with this film was that instead.
Oh Jesus!
Damn it!
What, another distraction.
Chris in here?
Oh shit!
Holy fuck! Chris!
No. The last time we talked was in 2015, right?
I've been waiting for 3 years.
All right. Did you need a figure? Do you want me
When
to?
I look in my YouTube feed, your last video is from 2017?
Correct. Well, technically, yeah.
What the fuck?
I've been busy. Other things.
When are we cutting this?
Like filming the documentary.
When are we cutting this cut?
Probably not for legal reasons.
Can we cut the cut now?
Oh, okay.
I thought sell something.
I kicked the door in.
Yeah.
Alright, Godzilla. And Ibra from Final Wars was the Return of Spacegodzilla. And Hedorah was Apockalypse. Now, keep in mind, it's Hedorah from Final Wars. So basically, that's how I view it.
Okay.
And that's how I view it. Can we all just, pan the camera to this man right here?
Oh yeah. Of course.
Yeah. You know what? Just amazing work.
You all think we're talking to a person?
Amazing work.
We're talking to the.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. There he is. Great work. You've inspired us all. Just want to let you know that.
Help me. We're talking to a fucking doll. This is scary shit.
It's pride.
Yeah.
Pride beam.
Yeah, you're right.
It's just now in today's age, yeah, because of all the social justice warriors and shit. Yeah, they're probably like, oh, it's pride beam, But I look at it like prideful. Like,
yeah, I know.
I'm happy about this.
Yeah.
I'm gay about this. Gay means happy.
That's true too. You can boil it down to just that. Godzilla's just happy.
He's just, at the end of the movie, he looks very happy.
Actually, he looks kind of pissed with things going on.
He's
He's kind of like, he's like, fuck are you?
He seems like he's just too tired to do.
Still stings about that, but but he's here. We have him, and so that's all that matters.
Yeah,
it's great. Yeah, I think that's it.
Nope. I gotta get in closer.
What else do you want?
Is there a problem here?